Hi everybody. Today, the 24th, I can't believe it, I'm going to make something that people in the Midwest are probably familiar with, otherwise you may not know. I'm going to make ham balls today. I had never tried these delicacies before I came to Iowa. It is ground up ham, ground up pork, and a meatball with like a tomato sauce. I'll show you how to go through it. It is absolutely essential at any potluck here. Like you have to have it, or you go to a church lunch or a fundraiser type thing. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I think you're going to like it. Stay tuned. This recipe comes from the Bergen Lutheran Church Cookbook 2007 edition. I have found some of the best recipes ever in church cookbooks. They are just always a wealth of information. So I'm actually doing a mix of two recipes. The ham balls will be from Miss Carol Larson, and the sauce will be from Rhoda Niram. So, all right, first step, gotta make the ham loaf. You can either, if you live somewhere where ham loaf is made, you can go just buy it, and like I said, that's ham and ground pork, or you can make it yourself with, half ground ham and half ground pork. I like to get it already made because it's kind of annoying trying to grind up the ham. You can have some stores do it for you, but it just isn't quite the same. So anyway, I let them do it. I've got 4 pounds of ham loaf. I have 2 of my water glassed eggs. They're getting a little older, so I'm using them up. The girls are starting to lay very nicely, so it's time to start this year's water glassed eggs. And then I have 2 cups of crushed graham crackers. I get it all in there. And 1 1/2 cups of milk. I actually experimented and reconstituted some of my whole powdered milk just to see how it would be received. We agree the taste is definitely different, but you know what? In a pinch, it would be okay. Looks like it's pretty much use it. All right, so that's nice. I got that used up. Now I can use it for grape juice. I am simply going to mix this up. Hands are your best tools. If you don't care to use your hands, just use a spatula or such. So ham loaf is kind of dry on its own, I think, because it is half ham. So it definitely needs the milk and the eggs and the graham cracker crumbs. I know that seems weird, doesn't it? But it really offsets the saltiness of the ground ham. So ham balls are definitely a sweet and salty meal, and either you love them or you don't. There's really not much in between with ham balls. In our family, we're pretty much a 50-50 split. Some like the sweet and salty combo, and some do not. So, I suggest introducing this one slowly to your family. I personally love them. I couldn't get enough that first time I tried them. And it took me a little while to be brave enough to try them myself. They just seemed too magical to be some simple dish. And once I tried them, I realized just how silly it was to wait so long. These are just about mixed up. Ben just came up here. He's looking at what I'm doing. Hey Ben, would you get me a bowl that can hold like several cups of liquid, like maybe the yellow biggest one? This is what happens when they come in, they become my gophers. All right, so I feel like this is pretty good. You can see it's, at this point, it's pretty moist. So when you're making the ham balls, they're about, I suppose people vary. I like them to be about the size of a lemon. So I mean, this is a pretty generous size thing. And you loosely roll it up into a ball. And you just fill up the pan with those. These bake for at least 1.5 hours at 350 covered. And then you uncover them so that they get nice and like caramelized. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish shaping this whole pan up, and then I'm gonna come back and show you the delicious sauce. So the next step, and one of the important keys to this, is the sauce, which is typically tomato based. Okay, it's always tomato based. So I'm kind of doing a hybrid because I like the best of both worlds. I'm going to use what would be the equivalent of 1 can of tomato soup. My homemade, of course. Which most tomato soup is like 14, 15 ounces, whatever. So we'll call that good. You can't really mess this up. It's okay, maybe you could, but you would have to try really, really, really hard to mess this up. So if you really put everything that you have into it, you might be able to. Alright, and then I'm going to use 2 cups of brown sugar. Like I said, this is that whole sweet, salty vibe going on. Abby's in the background watching me, and I will tell you that she is definitely in the camp of new ham balls. They are not her favorite. So tell her you can if she must, but they're not her favorite. Looks like I'm going to have just enough brown sugar in this bag. Alrighty, and then it varies from no vinegar to some vinegar. One says 1/3 of a cup, one doesn't have any at all, one has 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to use, oh look at that, our beautiful apple cider vinegar I made last fall. I'm just going to go blurp. Use what you're comfortable with. The acidity is a nice offset to the almost greasiness. Well, not greasiness, it's very rich. I'll just put it that way. It's very rich. If you've ever had ham balls, you probably understand what I'm talking about. And then I have roughly 1 teaspoon, recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. I figure that's about close enough. And then just stir it up. And what will happen is the meatballs will bake in this, and they'll just get a nice richness to them. And then towards the end, all of that brown sugar we poured in is going to make a really neat glaze on these. So towards the end of baking, when you uncover them, some folks flip them. I generally flip them so that both sides get equal love. And then you bake them until they're nice and caramelly looking. And it's just that simple. It's just a really nice, rich sauce. And then I may end up making more because I actually like saucy ham balls, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. So you just simply pour this on them. And yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna make some more because I want these to be nice and saucy. I want everybody to have a nice bath. Here it is. This is the ham balls. I'm actually putting these in the oven because we're eating these tonight. I got 2 beautiful pans. One's gonna go in the freezer. These are beautiful. When they get done, I will show you what they look like because you don't want to miss this. I also wanted to show you guys how I bake and store these. I don't just use foil because you may or may not be aware that there are some serious health concerns linked with foil and any aluminum exposure, especially over the long term, dealing with dementia, neurological issues. You know, make whatever conclusions you'd like. I've done enough research that I definitely do think there's correlation, but again, that's me. I've done enough researching to prove my case, but I'm not here to do that tonight. What I'm here to do is show you, like the one I just put in the oven, and this one I'm going to put in the freezer. I put a layer of parchment first, and then the foil. So I'm making a barrier between the foil and the parchment. Since this is an acidic food with the tomato soup, acid tends to leach aluminum, and we don't want that. We don't want aluminum raining down on our food. So you'll notice that for all of my freezer meals, you're going to see me put a layer of parchment and then my foil, and that is why. It also prevents sticking to said foil. I very, very, very rarely use foil pans. It's only if it's a dire emergency. Instead, I like to go thrifting, and I buy these glass pans for $1 or $2 a piece, and they last a whole lot longer than a throwaway foil dish. But this is how I store them for the freezer. A layer of parchment, layer of foil, bake them with the parchment and foil on them for about an hour and a half. Take off that foil, flip over the meatballs, and let them bake in the glaze until they're nice and brown and ooey gooey. So I just wanted to show you that. I wanted to share that tip with you. Again, you know, take it as you may. I'm not trying to start an argument about aluminum. I'm just telling you what I do based on my research and thoughts. And you got to do you. That's just what we do. So I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, here's the end result. Beautiful glazed ham balls. I'm going to put that right on a little bed of mashed potatoes. We're going to get some of that beautiful tomato gravy. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Those, I cooked them a little longer than I intended to because I kind of got distracted. bucktail. Let's look at this. Beautiful. See how they're pink? That's because it's ham. Fully cooked, but that ham is pink. So there you go, guys. Beautiful, beautiful Iowa ham balls. I hope you give this one a try. You're really gonna like it. See you next time.